I'm Karen Lombard, and today I'm excited. I have a very special guest with me, one that is a dear friend and also an amazing woman, powerful woman, equipped and mighty in spirit. Vibeke Kiiskila. Vibeke,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining me here. And I know you are such a busy woman, but you have so much to bring to us. And you are a wife, a mother, and you are also a businesswoman, a woman of
Yes.
faith. And you have stepped into the arena, the place that God has for you mightily. And you have so much to release. An entrepreneur, and ignite your dreams. So please tell us, what does Ignite Your Dreams, the digital agency, mean?
So, I mean, it is, well, thank you first for having me here, Karen. It's been just really fun to know you all these years, how we just connected and how we met in person and just see our just relationship to develop. That's something I really enjoy. And I do think like, especially to build the kingdom, like we need to be more strategic about, building healthy and good relationships. So, yeah, so thank you for having me here. And I
My
do run
pleasure.
a digital marketing agency, and I do call it for Ignite Your Dream because, I mean, there's, the technical part to it, but then it's the big vision and the legacy and everything behind it, which is I am very passionate about helping people to specifically Christians to ignite their dreams and to launch something online. Because what I've seen, I wasn't born a Christian. I became Christian as an adult. I was 26 years old. And when I came into the Christian world, I saw a lot of people that carry these dreams that, were from God. And it didn't happen. But while I was not Christian, I saw a lot of people just pursue their dreams and work really hard and dedicated to, go the steps. So it was something that was birthed into my heart, that I want to be that cheerleader that help people to launch a product, a book, a course, or something online, and establish and help them birth their message and establish that online and get paid for it. That is important. Yes. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I help people with what I would call front offers and back offers in their business. And a lot of people have like, oh, I want to do this and this and this and this, and then I kind of just come in together with them, hear their hearts, and help them to create kind of their first product and launch it. And then, of course, you can create many different products online today.
That's tremendous. So can you explain maybe a little bit more for those women that are not sure what a digital agency or digital marketing comprehends, what is all involved, to understand the workings?
Yeah, so it's basically how you establish yourself online within marketing. And marketing is like a super important piece. I mean, it's 80% of the business or a ministry or whatever you do. Because I see people, they create a course or they write a book, and then they spend all this time for the layouts, for just the creation about it. And then when they're done, then they don't get any sales, and except maybe some friends and family, and then they wonder, why don't I get sales? Well, it's because they didn't focus on the marketing. So one example, if you, Carrie, want to launch a book, let's say today, and we would have a session, I would say, okay, what's the name of your book? And then we'll create a cover, and then we will start to market the book today while you create it. so that when you launch the book, you know, you have buyers that they know you, they like you, they love your message, they want to know more about you, they want to invite you to speak, you know. So because that is often what people don't think about, it's the whole marketing piece, which is a huge part of both ministry and in business. And because I believe in the people that are, you know, they feel that the message is from God, so I feel my message is to help them launch that message. So we use, for example, if it is a book, we use a book funnel that we market through paid ads on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and then which leads often to another offer. So it depends on the person, what kind of calling they have, but from the first time a person come to know someone, you know, what is the next offer, what, like, where do you want to lead them? So if it's like a book, and then it's maybe speaking engagement, and then maybe it's events, then maybe it's a course, maybe it's a mentorship, maybe it's a mastermind. So you always lead your clients or your ideal audience through a process. And when people launch and don't know this, then they don't attract anyone or they don't sell anything because they don't understand the marketing piece. And that's what I help people with.
That's tremendous. And God has obviously given you that gift and that wisdom to do it, because that is, and being an entrepreneur most of my life as well, and still continue to birth things, that is the biggest challenge, Vibeke, is to get through that marketing, getting it to the people, connecting what you have and the person on the other end, the buyer.
Yeah. And also a lot of people say like, oh, but you know, I don't know how to sell, or I don't feel comfortable at selling or taking prices for anything. But then my question is like, okay, but do you really feel that the message that you got from God is important? And then it's like, for me, it's like, well, then it's your duty. I mean, it's your calling to get that message out to other people, because if you don't get that message out to other people, there will be another message that maybe not are from God or not godly at all, or you know, are killing babies or whatever it is. Like, our next generation will be bombarded with a lot of other things that we don't release. So I see it as, and I tell that to my clients too, like, each person, whatever you receive from God, it's your responsibility and your calling to get it out there. Because if you don't, you will not be able to help those people. You know, like in my dance school, I didn't want to open my dance school because I was a professional dancer and just experienced so many bad things. But then the Lord showed me a picture. He said, if you dance, then I will set people free and I will heal them. And that's exactly what happened. So because I was obedient to get the message for the dance out, then he healed people and delivered people and set them into freedom. And each person have a specific calling or a specific message or a voice or a book or a course, you know, inside of them that God have put in their heart. And I think it's just really dead important that it gets out to the world. And if we miss the piece of marketing, you know, we can't help anyone.
That's right. You know, and I love Rick Godwin, God's John Wayne from San Antonio. And I'll never forget, he's the most striking book to me. I mean, there are so many significant books, and the message in the book that really made a great impact on my life. And this is going way back to the late 80s, I think, when they came to South Africa and would minister there. But it's that live full and die empty. And that the graveyards are the most invested places, because so many people have not been able to release what has been inside of them, put inside of them for a release, a wealth on the earth to be grabbed by the kingdom and taken further and to establish that here. So that is always a very big passion for me, is to move in that area and absolutely live everything full and make sure that I release what is in me. And that is for each one of us. And I love what you said. It's a responsibility that we have.
Yeah. And if every person do that, we can actually, impact each of the 7 mountains, because we're called to different things. Like some are called to the school mountain, and I'm called to business and media, art and entertainment. I mean, we're just called to different things, and I feel this is the, I don't know the word, like this is where a lot of people inside the church, like this is what they're missing, because they think, okay, I'll just give it for free, but they don't think about, okay, how can I raise the marketing for the purpose of getting my message out? How can I, if I'm a school educator, how can I impact the mountain of education to be godly, the prayer back in school? How can I influence the mountain of family so that there's no abortion anymore, and all these different things. So, but we are just like inside of the little church mountain, and then our message that God himself has put in our heart, we, like all the other mountains, are missing that voice. So yeah, so I'm just very excited about like helping people to share their message to the world. So that's why I kind of named one of the program Ignite Your Dreams, because I think that is just super important. Yeah.
So what would be the beginning point? What would be the first thing for somebody to do if they want to have you help them to ignite their dream?
So that will just be to book a meeting with me. So I have a 30 minutes just free discovery session with each person to see where they are in their process, and if I can help them, or if we are a good fit. Because it has to be just a realistic from where they are too. Like so we kind of do everything in the agency. So we help people, if it's a book, for example, we help to create a funnel. We have to create the message, the copywriting, the email sequence. We put on the Facebook ad. We get the audience in. So we do everything for people. But that is the first thing that they need to do, is to just book a meeting with me, and then we'll just have a conversation where they are and how I can help them to, launch their message and their dreams. Yeah.
That's wonderful. We'll definitely put that contact information in the comments as well for everybody that you can reach. And I'm so glad that you are in Kansas City, and God is just connecting those ties. And now with my daughter and her family there as well, it's just tremendous that I know God has brought us together for a reason and a purpose. And wonderful that, we've been able to work with you, Vibeke. And one more thing is that people need to realize that this whole life situation that we are currently in, it's almost one thing on top of the other. And I think if we haven't woken up yet, we need to very certainly as kind of look around and discern that we might have to do things differently in our life moving forward, and make those decisions, those adjustments, and focus our wealth creation, our income and things differently. Yeah. And that is something definitely, I think, where you have a big key for the entrepreneur and the business person.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to wealth creation, I think it is important that we that carry the wisdom from God. For me, I'm just like, I want to make as much money as I can. I want to impact life. I want to live out of giving 90% and live out for 10%. And why is that? Is because I do believe, like, I'm not going to go huge into politics, but if you go into politics, it's about power and money.
Yeah.
And for me, if the people that have the good heart have the finances, we can use the researchers to adopt children, rescue children from orphans' home, from human sex trafficking, which, by the way, is the biggest growing business in the US today, is human sex trafficking. And that's why I'm like, we as Christians need to be out there. We need to create wealth and make money and make an impact and influence, our mountains, our spheres of influence. I think that is just super important. And if things, one thing that I often have discovered is that people, they start to do something, and then if they face some challenges, and then they think, oh, it's not God then. But I don't believe in that, because I believe if God have put something in your heart, even if it is challenges, to be researchful, to find ways to overcome it, and to find ways to invest in, mentorship, like my agency or other thing. It's like we don't understand, like, that we as Christian too, in the different season of life, and especially now, all the things that are happening in the world now, we just need to learn to be teachable, and we need to pivot. If something isn't function, if people, lost jobs in this season and income, I think it's super important. Okay, what can I do so that don't happen? For my husband and I, this season has been an increase, because so many people were looking to, how can I learn something online, which I think is very, very good, because the world is going that way. Forbes predict that there will be a massive increase in the digital marketing industry, on the online world, of how we see education and experts. And so that's why I just want to encourage everyone to think about having products, courses, things online, so that you can make money, whether there is a good season or bad season, what's going on in the world, and have like front offers and back offers. I mean, with front offers, meaning having things online that you market, and then back offers would be, mastermind coaching, speaking engagement, or other things. So yeah, I think it's super important that even if it is a challenge, to just push through and be researchful and pivot in seasons like this. And I've seen those that do pivot, like some of my students, when they pivot and launch, I mean, it's really good, and they receive a lot of from their ideal client. They're just, oh, thank you God that I found you. But if we're not out there, people can't find your message. So yeah, it is very important. I take it very seriously.
And as a fellow dancer, I love that word pivot that you use so repeatedly, because you take everything that you perceive in that moment and you put it into that new direction, right?
Yes, yes,
Being able to turn with force and our energy and power into a new place.
yes, yes. And that's how you get momentum, and that's how you attract your ideal clients. So I think it's important for Christians in this season to shift their mindset and ask God, like, how can I pivot? What do you have for me? And like, I personally invest in more than $35,000 a year to get mentored by other mentors. I have mentored in every different spheres of my life, like for my marriage, for like I'm a new parent, and I have spiritual mentors, I have business mentors, I have online mentors. So I have mentors for different things, and I think it is important for Christian that it is time for them to become resourceful, and not think, how can I do things, the cheapest way or completely for free, because if you have that mindset, you can't grow your income either. So I think it's just important.
And that can become a very fatal trap. And it is such a orphan spirit place that we have to move out of. And we kind of comprehended the fact for a long time that is what we as Christians, if we're a good Christian, are ought to do. And it's very challenging. And I find, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure there are many other women that will agree, it's to make that shift, to go from doing everything for free, investing into other people, when you are having to provide for all of that out of the other things that you maybe do or areas that God gives you. But it becomes a burden, it becomes a strain, and it can actually stifle growth and progress. And it can prolong the things that God wants to take you to. He wants to accelerate us. And he moves at such light speed that we do not always comprehend, and we are still stuck back here. But then we have to make that breakthrough and get to where he has us go. But it can happen suddenly, right?
Yeah, I think it's just right, everything you say, but and I think for a person to make that switch, it's just a decision, a commitment that I'm going to do this, and I'm going to invest in myself, invest in mentors, in coaches, in agencies or ghostwriter or whatever you want to do, and to think that I'm going to pay them, and that doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you charge people for your services. I mean, I have because it doesn't mean that you can't do good, because for me, the more I make, the more children can I rescue out from human sex trafficking. Like, that's one of my husband and I number one thing, that we want to rescue as many children out from human sex trafficking and get them into a place of healing, and then also into a place of equipment when they're ready. But I can't help them do that if I don't have money. If I just have $1,000 to give them, I can only help this many. But if I have $5,000, I can help this many. And if I have 10,000, I can help this. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And it doesn't mean that you can't help some for free. Like, when I started my dance school, which was set up as a business because I made people pay to take classes, I said, I'm going to charge this every semester, but 10% of my time is going to volunteer, which was volunteer every Friday. I would go to a center where there were women that was already in prostitution on the street, but every Friday they could come there and we would cook a meal together. And then after the meal, we would have like fun, like dance things and things like that. And it was only women that were allowed to do that. But that was my volunteer back, where I didn't want anything from them. But I had my all other students that paid for my dance classes. So it doesn't mean that you can't give things for free. But if you give everything for free, I mean, what does that say about you? If you think about all the tears you had to write a book, all the experience you had in life, all the hardship you went through in a relationship, I mean, is that something you want to give away for free? Right. And when I asked that to my clients, they're like, no. Like, so how much is that worth? The pain, the tears, the experience, all the things that have made you to this place of wisdom, is that worth nothing?
Right.
So it's not, and you can't set a price on that, but you figure out what your message is, you figure who your ideal clients are, and then you put a price on the products and services that you offer to them.
Tremendous. So one would argue, I know value is the word here, right? And if we value what is inside of us, if we value God, then we would put that that monetary value to what we do. And that is biblical. And it's also things that we do in normal life. People are prepared to pay an exceptional price for a favorite coffee or their favorite things. But then they might question paying something that brings value to their life. So that is a moment for us there to teach and to relate the value of the things we do as well. And that's your marketing piece is so important there. Tremendous.
Yeah. It's absolutely important that each person that feel that they have anything from God to share or impact with the world, that they actually launch through a book, through a course, to a challenge, to coaching, to mastermind, to events. I mean, it's very, very important. If we don't do that, then the darkness will just take over. So I think each message is just so crucial to get out there now.
Thank you. Tremendous message, and I'm excited to see where it will go. And ladies, I don't know if there's any of you that might have a question for Vibeke, or as I said, we will put the connect details with her in the comments. And do think about that. I know we have a number of authors in the group, and some new, some their books have been out a while, but maybe they need an avenue of success, need to go to greater heights. So I encourage all of you, connect with her and let her lead you. She's a woman of integrity and a woman that just has such passion for what she does. Prophetic, anointed and appointed for a time such as this.
Thank you.
Vibeke, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. And we are also going to talk to you about your dance center too. But thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Karen.
My pleasure. Thank you.